If you've heard Benjamin Denman's story before, then you know him as someone who has faced hemophilia and inhibitors head on. Today on I'm Fine, we go a step further, exploring what happens when the struggle eases, freedom arrives, and a new question emerges. That question? Who am I without the struggle?
This is all I've ever known. Is that even
Possible for me?
I don't want to miss anything.
I don't need that.
I don't want to acknowledge my pain.
I don't want to get poked with needles.
I don't want that.
There's nothing wrong.
I'm fine.
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 Fine.
Today on I'm Fine, we explore what it's like to rediscover identity, independence, and purpose when treatment changes everything.
I wasn't on really anything because they all had of my factor 8, so it's whatever was stored was an IV drip, like sit and wait, and then because I had bleeds and I wasn't using factor, it was a lot of arrest, ice and elevation and for days. Even when I went to passing agent, it was still always on demand. Man, that was a lot. That was, a dose of medicine every 2 hours till the bleed. And, sometimes that would be, a couple days.
Getting care wasn't simple. It was a fight.
It was go to the emergency room. And then it was a debate and an argument with the emergency room whether I really needed medicine because the medicine costs so much. How do I know that I have hemophilia, and had I ever been diagnosed? And we're going to give you a half a dose. And I at one time told that I was addicted to my factor. I can just tell from that statement, you don't know what factor does. I was like, I guess you could say I'm addicted to getting my bleeds treated, but that's the only thing.
That's who Benjamin was then. Benjamin the hemophiliac, as he once described himself. Survival became his story.
So I always describe myself before treatments as Benjamin the hemophiliac. The hemophiliac known as Benjamin, because hemophilia was such a major part of me that it just was the most defining characteristics of me, kind of, because it controlled everything.
Then something shifted. For the first time, treatment didn't just manage symptoms. It gave him freedom. Benjamin and his family could finally start a new chapter writing their own story.
We rewrote our story when we no longer had medical problems by moving to Alaska and starting over. We really got to live our dreams now because we're not struggling with medical issues.
But freedom didn't arrive overnight. Benjamin took steps to explore how he could make his journey better.
I want to say about 8-9 years ago, a sub-Q prophylactic medicine came out, and I started that. And I actually started on trial with that for a little bit. And it was amazing. I dropped from, having 2 and 3 bleeds a year. It was an adjustment for a prophylactic to take something every week now, but being a sub-Q made it worth the effort.
With that freedom came a question he had never asked before. What happens when my reason for holding back is gone?
It was about 5 years. We decided that, I've always had a dream about moving to Alaska. And so after that point, it was like, opened my eyes to the realization that, oh, look, we can move to Alaska now because I don't have bleeds. I don't have to be close, tied to my hospital anymore. It was cool. I got to, quit telling stories to my kids about things that I've done in my life and be like, all right, look, let's go do this and experience that with them.
For Benjamin, Alaska became more than a move. It was a symbol of independence and rediscovery.
Who am I without the struggle? I'm a dad. I'm a coach for sports for my boys' sports team. I'm an outdoorsman.
But letting go of the struggle didn't erase the past. It actually meant facing what the past left behind.
I struggle with the survivor's guilt of being born in the 80s and going through that period of time and not being affected by um, you know, all the problems that were going on, and watching my brothers be affected by it, and then all their complications, and some of them have died, and so it's just kind of crazy.
Even freedom can come with weight. The quiet question of how to rewrite your story when health gives you new opportunities, but memories still pull you back. Listeners, think about a time when the challenge you've known all your life disappears. What would you do with that freedom? In Alaska, Benjamin found balance, literally and figuratively.
Being in Alaska and being a part of nature, everything is a balance here in Alaska. Moving here, we've been here for 4 years now, and we've gotten rid of the noise. We don't watch sports anymore. We don't watch the news. We're not on all that stuff. We have a few apps that we use that get us the local stuff that's going on, and we can get the local information, but we don't listen to that noise anymore. And so I feel more connected with nature. We go outside and we hunt and we fish, and it is about being part of nature and using that. We fish and we hunt so that we don't have to go, so that we can supplement our food, and we're not buying so much food from the store anymore. We have friends and neighbors that have chickens and different other things that we can get, so that we're more, more with nature, one with nature. And that was part of our thing of moving to Alaska, is we wanted to be, you know, I have this dream of homesteading, and homesteading is just using, um, balancing your life within nature and using nature to help, sustain life, and so, that was the whole process. So to have now a new medicine that's on board that works with that whole balancing thing, I feel like it's like the complete circle now, because it's now we're just worried about balancing our lives within nature, within medicine, within, the whole thing.
When your story has always been about struggle, peace can feel unfamiliar. But maybe that's where real growth lies. Learning that strength doesn't disappear when the fight gets quieter. Benjamin's story reminds us that I'm fine doesn't mean the struggle is gone. It means we're learning who we are beyond it.
When there's no struggle, we get lost in nature.
Maybe that's where the answer lies. Not in being fine, but in finally being free. What does being free look like to you? Thank you, Ben, for your story, and thank you to Sanofi for supporting the I'm Fine segment. Consider your options and visit levelsmatter.com to learn more. Share this segment, subscribe to the BloodStream podcast, and hey, thanks for listening to I'm Fine.